milk toast. Now with your left hand, reach out and grab your nose. Say yeah to a high five with your friend. Up high, down low, too slow, let's go.
Hey everybody, it's Rhonda from Bake Me Happy. Welcome back to the channel. Today I want to introduce you to our new family member. This is Teddy. Say hi, Teddy. She is our, I think she's 9 weeks now, 9-week-old mini Bernedoodle that we got a couple weeks ago. Sweetest thing. But wanted to introduce you to her. Let me put her down. So today's video, we are doing chocolate cupcakes. Usually, as you know from my other videos, I take different parts of different recipes because Lord knows I can't develop my own recipes. But I try different recipes and then I take from other recipes, so I kind of combine several to get what I like. So this recipe, I was watching some YouTube videos and came across a channel called The Preppy Kitchen, and I decided to try his chocolate sheet cake recipe, but I turned it into cupcakes. It's so good, so moist. Highly recommend it. Go look at his channel. He's got some great videos and great recipes, and try it for yourself. So we're gonna get this video going. Please like, subscribe, and share. I think I'm up to 10 or 11 subscribers now, so yay, getting some subscribers. So people are watching, and I hope you enjoy it. So let's get to it. Okay, here we go. First, I'm putting 1 cup of whole buttermilk, room temperature, into a bowl. And then I'm going to add room temperature sour cream. This is 1/2 of a cup. And then I will add 3 large eggs, room temperature, and then 3/4 cup of vegetable oil, 1 tablespoon of vanilla extract, and I'm going to use my vanilla paste because I like the way that it flavors things better. And then near the end, you're going to see me add 1.5 cups of hot coffee. You can use boiled water if you want. The coffee doesn't give it a coffee flavor. It enhances the chocolate. So I highly recommend using the coffee, but if you don't want to, you can use boiling water. So I'm adding all the ingredients to the bowl, and then I'm going to take a whisk and I'm going to whisk all of this until it's smooth. This recipe is so easy. I didn't even have to pull out my mixer until I was mixing the icing. So it's all done with a whisk. Very easy to mix. Comes together really quickly. And I'm making large cupcakes, so this actually made 12 large cupcakes. It'll make more smaller ones if you're going to do the smaller liners. So here I'm adding the coffee. And then once I get done mixing this, I'm going to start adding my dry ingredients. And what I've done is I whisked together 3 cups of all-purpose flour, 2 2/3 cups of granulated sugar, 1/2 cup of Dutch processed cocoa powder, and 2 teaspoons of baking powder, 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder, and 3/4 teaspoons of salt. Now, I don't use the cups for my sugar, cocoa, and all-purpose flour. I actually weigh it in grams because it all can weigh differently depending on how it was processed. So for the flour, it's 360 grams. The sugar, it's 530 grams. And for the cocoa, it's 50 grams. So I'm going to mix this until it all comes together. And you can see this came together pretty quickly. Now, I've preheated my oven to 325 because I was making large cupcakes. And typically, when I'm doing large birthday cakes or wedding cakes, I bake all my cake at 325 so that it's slowly cooks and because they're in larger pans and it's not quickly cooking on top and not getting done on the bottom. Cooking it at 325 took me about 35-40 minutes for these to get done. At 350, you tend to get a higher dome. I was just concerned with a larger liner that it would cook too quickly on top. So I went with the 325. If you're going to do it at 350, so after I get done mixing, I'm going to add them to my liners. Here I've added my large liners to my pan. Underneath those liners, I added some uncooked rice. This keeps the bottoms from getting soggy and oily looking. And I'm not the neatest at doing this. Usually I use my cookie scoop, but I just went ahead and poured it and dripped it all over the place. And when I'm done, we're going to bake these at 325. The recipe says 350, but because I used larger liners, I chose to use 325. It took about 45 to 50 minutes for them to completely cook. Here's the finished product. So I'm going to pop one out so you can see the rice at the bottom of the pan. And you can see the bottom of the liner. It's not greasy, not wet looking. And there's the rice at the bottom of the pan that I just throw out as uncooked rice. And I'm going to put them on a rack to cool. And then once they're completely cooled, I'm going to frost them. So here I'm taking a cup and a half of unsalted butter, and I'm going to mix this for about 2 minutes to get it nice and creamy. And then once that's nice and creamy, I'm going to add 25 grams of the Dutch processed cocoa powder. That will be about a quarter of a cup. 3/4 teaspoons of salt, and mix it until it's all incorporated. I'm going to take my scraper and scrape down the bowl several times just to make sure it's all incorporated. And then once I get this incorporated, I'm going to add my little, I don't even know what it's called. It's I saw it on Instagram, and it's the one thing on Instagram that I ordered that didn't turn out to be a total flop. You attach it to your attachment thing on your KitchenAid, and you can drop your dry ingredients straight down into the bowl. I have one of those metal ones that I've purchased that you can hook on the side, and those work okay, but the dry ingredients would fall out the side, and this one is just great. If you see these on Instagram or Facebook ads, I highly recommend. I can't remember if I got this on Amazon, but I'm thinking it was an Instagram ad. So now I'm adding my powdered sugar, a little bit at a time, let it incorporate.
And then after I get it all mixed and it's nice and creamy, you can add, if it's too stiff, you can add some heavy cream, a tablespoon at a time, until you get it the consistency that you want. I didn't add any heavy cream here. Also, I did add a third of a cup of hot fudge sauce and didn't melt it or anything, took it straight from the jar, and that really enhanced the flavor. So here's the finished product, and then you're going to see here where I've cut one in half, and the cake is so moist. These are some of the best cupcakes I've ever had as far as chocolate cupcakes go. So thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, and share, and we'll catch you on the next one.